Hi, hello, and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to talk about second coming of aliens, divine alien races, godlike alien life forms. And we're going to have to cut some things short because I'm trying to keep the video short for my computers and YouTube's sake. I don't really care to make some 20-minute video where I lose people. So, well, there's a lot in my own inner experience. Since early 2012, if you don't know what that is, I've got a book about it, and I've got a couple of other videos trying to explain it. And that's the best I have for right now. I've kind of since given up on a lot of stuff with trying to form a group and community over it, but I'm over that now. Anyways, I'm here to just talk about possibilities, endless possibilities of different agendas and second comings of alien races and whatnot. And there's a lot to it. I hope people add to this. I don't want people to sit there and be like falsified beliefs and whatnot. Because again, everything in my experience inside, it's all inside, so I take it with a grain of salt because it's all me, but it's all like this projected, generated image, is coming to me as memories throughout the years of different instances of being with aliens. So for this, I'm gonna be real discreet about like the type of life form that I'm talking about here. It could be anything at all. It could be anything in the universe. But so for this instance, there's a massive ship that hovers over the Earth. Now, could it be in range of the atmosphere, or is it by the moon? Well, if they're really smart, they're probably not within the atmosphere. But a lot of the instances I saw in my own inner visions and whatnot is that it hovers close enough to the atmosphere so it could get people inside real easily, and it basically takes people up. And if you're willing, all inside knowingly that you're willing for this thing to take you, then it'll take you. And so I do kind of let it happen in that instance. Obviously, as a child, I was so excited to think about like having something randomly happen to me, like waking up one morning with the alien greeting me. These godlike aliens. This one main one was like this half male, half female type of life form that, I mean, I could say it sounded kind of like Michael Jackson, but that's just what the voice that they projected to me. They kind of go back and forth between like male and female. And so I'm seeing all these great experiences, and I feel like, a child being tickled with love and life by some godlike alien life form that just wants to take me away and make me one of their own kind and take me to their family. And it's one of that. I briefly write about this in my book, this one in particular, where it's just like this ultimate, life inside of this that God-like master alien ship, and it's like the ultimate simulator, and it kind of just like works like, I say simulator, there's a lot of simulations inside of it, as that's like what they're doing, is simulating like human life while they're still an alien. And so basically there's all these different outcomes with this one. Are they good? I don't know. They're just like this godlike life form that's kind of like half male, half female, and like a multicolored robe, and almost presents himself as like this overwhelmingly divine being that's there to cure mankind and whoever they have with them. And I was their the person that they had in this instance. And life was all giddy and tee-hee, and it's I go through this whole transitional experience for basically eternity. Basically, this thing takes me away for that long, and become one with it, and the ship and everything, and it's all this stuff over time that's like it's kind of unraveled more and more. And that's kind of where I was trying to talk to about, with this instance of like God, like aliens coming over here and rewarding mankind for nothing, or just simply trying to take a few people away and use them. So this is just one instance. They're like blue skinned. They look like us in the face with no facial hair or any kind of hair. And robes and ancient robes. People look kind of like us. Anyways, that's to cut that short. So what happens? Over the years, it's like there's could be all these different instances of like ideas. There's a thing about like the ultimate alien satellite race. Not really a race. They're kind of like just these massive probes, drones, and satellites hovering over the Earth, and they're massive in size and they carry massive amounts of radiation with them. But they're not there to hurt us. They're not there to take over us. They're not there to farm us. They're literally just there to dissect us and look at every little inch of us in every kind of way. Some of them might do more harm than others, and then realize they're not doing it. And so it's all one mind, obviously, that controls these ships. But this one in particular, I thought was so cool. So it was like there's some massive robotic alien drone thing going through space for only, I mean, you wouldn't know how long, thousands, millions of years, going across the galaxy to find other life, and then they found us. So they're sitting there, dissecting every little living thing possible right in front of everybody. And this is all because, like, again, there's this other thing with like alien races, and a lot of them, are how hidden they are. Look how well hidden they are. They're not out there right now. They're not doing anything. But like this is the thing with like the interstellar life forms don't have that concept because they're not from here. It's kind of like the loud and noisy neighbor that's from another country that doesn't know about, like, disruption of peace and disorderly conduct and whatnot. And so they're just making a big commotion, and they're just all up in everyone's space. These nobody can hide from these massive satellite things, and they don't have any kind of like idea of like stay hidden. It's just kind of like just show yourself to the world and see what happens from there, not knowingly that like mankind was capable of doing what it's doing. If something like that were to happen. And so they would appear, like just so suddenly in the solar system and start hovering over the Earth and start doing their business and whatnot. And I think over time it tried to say that like there was the idea that like over time people would come together with this, and we'd end up merging with like robotic satellites, alien things from other galaxies or from across the galaxy that's just basically become interwoven with like the technology and whatnot. And so that's one instance. I really don't have much on that because it just kind of gave me that brief little ending for that, and that could be over hundreds to thousands of years. So there's stuff like that, and then there's different ideas about like different ships just suddenly like taking people up and basically turning us into another person and bringing you on like the thing with like the light and everything, but it's all already on a ship. It's already for us, and so there's that. And like there's no like getting out of that one. Like once you go on there, it's like they're gonna sit there and zap you with some blinding light thing, and you're gonna come back another person, come back like an Asian girl or something like that. So I have a lot of visions like that and whatnot in here. So what does that all come to? Are they and this is not just for my visions. This is for any kind of massive exposure contact amongst many people, that something just happens that just shows all these different life forms appearing before the world. And in any kind of instance like that, it's like, is that some kind of loosh form that they're coming here for, and they're trying to make themselves so present because they're already getting it right then and there. And is that just the divine race trying to give to man more than take? So there's different stuff and ideas like that. Also, with the idea of the loosh farming, as I hear so much more from different people these days, it's an idea that there are other life forms, possibly interstellar, from not from here, not living here right now, like reptilian type of life forms that already inhabit the Earth and already have for thousands of years before mankind. Is that there's a war between who gets what. I've read a couple of books throughout the years about this, and there is a lot of reference with like reptilians that there has been over time. I don't know if it's the Anunnaki or it's another one called the Wolfians, and I think that might be their own separate war with the Wolfians. But there's the Anunnaki and a bunch of other races that like at some point like there was a divide in power between like the reptilians and something like that. So then there's this whole war between like who's going to get the big loot of the loosh farming. I'll say that one more time. Who gets all of that? And that's where I try to bring into the idea that there's like some kind of like race war between them for just for humanity. So that's and if you know that, maybe at some point they'll use that for our advantage. But anyways, where I'm going to with all this is basically that as the coming of everything now, there's without a shadow of a doubt going to be something happening over the next coming years that just is mass exposure. I'm not talking about some people talking in a great big room with suits on and talking about alien instances with UFOs and whatnot. And is it true, sir? Is it true? No. This is going to be like some big stuff that's going to be like undoubtedly there's not going to be any erase the people when millions of people are seeing the same life form, millions of people are seeing the same ship. There's not going to be any just erase their minds and or get rid of them, sweep under the carpet. No, it's straight up going to be, here comes, the apocalypse, the great awakening of everything being unfolded before us. And I believe, like I said, over the coming year, I wanted to believe it's going to be next year. I don't know. I don't know these days. I don't know what. I know 2026 is still going to be a bumpy ride. I've been saying that for a while now. But yeah. So that's pretty much it for what I wanted to talk about with like the coming of aliens and whatnot, and what that might be like. So, anyways, thanks for getting this far if you did.